Hey, welcome back to Whitetail Garage. It's hot in Texas. Those of you in Texas know what I'm talking about. That's why I haven't been recording a whole lot, so I apologize for that. We've been hitting most of our days of triple-digit weather. Today's only 96, so that's a little bit better than it was. But today, what I thought I'd do is just kind of talk about a few things that are coming up on the channel, some projects for both of these cars, and then in the rest of this video, just kind of give you a montage, catch you up if you're new to the channel, kind of see what we've done to both these cars, and just roll through some footage, a little preview of what we've accomplished so far. Obviously, please go back and watch those videos if you're interested in the journey, the whole journey. But otherwise, let's just talk about what we've got to do next. So as far as Rita goes, we've got all the weather strip around the whole car. I've only done the weather strip against the convertible top because that's kind of critical to do at that same time. But all the rest of the door weather strip, the window glass weather strip, all of that hasn't been done, so I need to get all that done. There's a special rivet and tool you need to do the quarter window, or the vent window rivets. So I've got to see about how I'm going to accomplish that. The tool's kind of expensive for what it is, so I might be able to pull it off with like a screwdriver or a punch or, you know, something. Figure out my way of doing it, maybe doing it in a vise. The passenger side of Rita, the quarter window doesn't match up to the window. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see there's a significant gap there that I want to close up. The other side's not got that same level of gap, and this window is hard to roll up. The quarter window is hard to roll up, so into the weather strip I have to push it back. So there's some adjustment that I have to kind of rock the quarter window out some. So those are some adjustments that also need to be made. So you can see I've got some alignment issues that I have to work with there. So I've got all the door run channel, the window run channel, whatever you call that, the felt that goes right there at the window. Then all of the rubber that goes on all the doors. I've got all that. I've had it for a while. I haven't messed with it. I haven't been out in the garage. Then I want to put some headlights in it. I'd like to go with some LED headlights. The headlights in it are really, really dim. You know, I've got the bigger alternators. So it's not the alternators, it's just how bright headlights are from 1966. So I want to do just the 7-inch round LED headlights. Haven't bought that stuff yet, but I do want to get that, so that's coming. One thing that's a big deal that you'll see coming up on the channel is seat heaters. So, you know, the heaters in these cars aren't great, so I want to, you can adjust or rewire the heater switch to where you get more power out of that blower motor. I've seen that on a couple of forums, so I'm going to try that wiring out and see if I can make that work. That'll be on the channel, but then also seat heaters. So I've already, if you've seen the upholstering video, there's just a sneak peek of those seat heaters that I'm using. They're a Dorman universal seat heater. I put 4 of them in there, and so they're in there right now, but they're not wired up. And so I've got some kind of cool ideas on how I'm going to hide the switches, so you don't normally see the switches unless you need them, and then get seat heaters going for this winter. So that's going to be a fun project. That'll be new wiring that I'll work on for that. The steering wheel is making a kind of a bad bearing noise, so I've got to pull that off and inspect that. The bearing looked good when I took it apart to put the new horn button and everything in it, but it I don't know, it started making noise, so maybe it just needs a little bit more grease, not sure. Of course, we have all of the total cost involved suspension stuff that I still have over here. I don't know when I'm going to jump off and do that, so follow the channel. It'll likely be after I've found a motor, because I don't really want to modify this to fit that 6-cylinder, and frankly I don't want the car to be down for that long and only go back with that suspension, because it's going to require new wheels and tires, and it's going to require new engine, and then all that suspension put in, and some of them are welded-in components, so the car's going to be down for a while. So I don't want to do that anytime soon. We're really enjoying the car. We haven't with the heat, but in the evenings we can, you know, take the car out. And then now we're getting into the, you know, fall and winter time, where in Texas, especially in the fall, it's just going to get cooler. Won't be real wet. We'll still have some sunny days in the fall through in November, and so we'll be able to drive it a lot coming up soon. So looking forward to that. I do have a couple of projects for the F-150, but I think I might be trading it in. I think I'm going to go up to an F-250 because the family's looking at getting an RV. And so I've been struggling with trying to find in this market. You guys know the market's crazy right now with not only, you know, travel trailers, but also vehicles specifically, pickups, F-150s, and Fords in particular. So the projects there are, I got a new bed cover and a couple of little knick-knack things that were given to me that I may put on. If I do, I'll obviously put them on the channel, but I don't know. We'll see. Another thing that I've started, and you'll see in the last video that I haven't finished yet, is the shifter indicator light. The factory harness was pulled out of that because it was automatic from the factory, so I guess they pulled a lot of that out. So I'm missing that whole harness. So for now, I've just run a wire down there that I'm going to tie into the headlight switch, so that way I can have that shifter light working at night. The other thing is the in 1966, I'm sure most, if not all of y'all are aware, that when the headlights come on for the headlight switch, it turns off the park lamps. But you can rewire the headlight switch where they all stay on. So that's a project coming up as well. I'll get that done. And speaking of lighting in general, I don't like how dark the interior of the car is when we're driving at night because the instrument cluster is so dim because it's just the regular incandescent bulbs and there's no other accent lighting throughout the car. It's just super, super dark at night. So I'd like to get the LED lights for the instrument cluster, and then I'd really like to figure out some type of an LED accent lighting front of the dash while the headlight switch is on. So something that matches the color of the instrument cluster, that green color, I guess, and just have it real dim, just enough where you can see inside the interior and cut that black out slightly. Those of you that like have seen the inside or know how the Platinums or like the Navigators or any of those Ford trucks work, where they've got that mood lighting or accent lighting, whatever you call it. I'd like to have that in the Mustang as well, so I'll be looking to add that. I also want to add an alarm. I'm looking for a two-way alarm with really no real frills, but if I can get a decent two-way alarm where I won't be so worried about just walking away from the car while it's in a public place. Not that that's going to stop it from getting stolen or anything. I'm not suggesting that, but at least I know if anybody's messing with it, I get a warning that I can maybe go do something with it. One of the things I did do is the car does have a tracker in it, one of those tracker chips, and then I can see it on my phone wherever that chip is at. And so I've got that hidden in the car. So, you know, I mean, it's not low jack, but it's something. It would give me an opportunity to potentially track the car down if I needed to. So just some ideas for you guys on what to do there. But I think that's it for Rita. I mean, I'm sure there'll be other projects that come up, you know, but I think that's pretty much it. Now, the Black Widow, we've got a lot to do. I'm less worried about the Black Widow because it's a two-seater right now, so I can't enjoy it with the family, and that's a problem. So having a race car, not really in my interest anymore. I mean, obviously I love the Fox body, but what I'm saying is I think I want to make it more of a street car. I've got the original seats for the back. They're still up there, not being used, and they don't fit because of the roll cage. So I'm thinking I'll cut the roll cage out. I'll put air conditioning back under the dash, put the rear seats back in it, and then it becomes a family car again of sorts. I can at least put 3 of the kiddos in there and go for a drive. So we've still got, so that's one thing I want to do. Still needs a windshield. I have not taken care of the windshield. On the order of making it a more streetable car, I bought a Cobra brake booster from LMR. So that's got to go in. I haven't done that work yet. If y'all remember, it's got manual brakes on it right now. And the other thing is I got to finish up the exhaust on the turbo, specifically the wastegate doesn't have an exhaust tube on it, so I've got the flange, but I haven't bought the pipe and I haven't taken care of that yet, so I can't really rip on it because I don't want it to blow right off of that. The other issue, the reason I can't really rip on it is it's apparently not tuned The setup I bought, I got the computer with it, and it was tuned on the previous car. It was on a stock fuel system. As far as lines and everything are concerned, it had an aftermarket fuel pump. I don't know what size that was. And you've seen the fuel system that's in this one. And so what I think is happening is when it's pulsing those injectors for what it thinks it needs, it's flooding it out, and I'm virtually hydrolocking the engine. So it's flooding out, it kills it, makes it real hard to start. I believe that's what's happening. But basically every time I rip on it and build a decent amount of boost and let off, it stumbles, dies, and then it takes me forever to get it to start back up. Then when I finally get it to start back up, seems to run fine, has plenty of power. But again, if I rip on it and go under boost, then it has a problem. So that being said, it's an older chipset, and there's a lot of people that aren't tuning those chips anymore. And so I'm very likely going to have to go into a project with this one to put in a new standalone system. And so I'll very likely go with a Holly. I like the Holly. It's got obviously a lot of people using it. And there are a lot of folks that can do remote tuning on the Holly. So my plan is to probably go with a Holly on this one with like the 12-inch dash, digital dash in the stock cluster. So that's where that one's going. It'll be a while before I get to that because again, this one's kind of back, playing second fiddle to Rita, because we get a lot more use out of it because all the family can be in there. We're really comfortable in it. It's a lot of fun to drive the convertible. So just not into the street car right now, but she'll get her stuff done. So I guess with that being said, I don't think there's anything else to do to this car that I can think of. I mean, paint the trim. There's some, if you come over here, you can see, the trim around the windows is really faded. So want to work on all of that. Trim around the windshield. I'll do the windshield trim whenever I replace the windshield, so it'll already be out at that time. So I'll just paint it then. But like I said, let's catch you up on everything that you haven't seen if you're new to the channel, or just a recap on things you have seen for the Project Rita and the Project Black Widow, and then we'll circle back. All right, well, I guess we'll end it there. Hope you enjoyed the brief montage. Like I said before, if you liked what you saw and you're new to the channel, go back and check out those videos. Please hit the like and subscribe. Got plenty of projects to come, like I said, especially now that it's starting to cool off. We can get back in the garage, get some of this stuff done. Sorry I've been out for as long as I have. Just too hot to be out here in Texas. Don't forget, we've got merch. Go to whitetailgarage.com for merch if you choose to support the channel in that way. If not, just hitting that subscribe button is great. It's free for you and helps me out a ton. With that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.